Election Day, November 4th, exactly 3 weeks from today. New Jersey residents will choose a new governor for the Garden State. The Republican candidate for governor, former New Jersey State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli, joins us live right now. Good morning. Good to have you on, Mr. Ciattarelli.
Hey, Ken. Thanks for having me back.
You bet. And during the second and final debate, let's get right to it. You know, this is what everyone's talking about. Your opponent turned to you and all but accused you of being a murderer. Not that you may have misled, but literally said you're responsible for tens of thousands of deaths, saying that your former medical publishing company knowingly published false information regarding opioids. And she said that resulted in the deaths of thousands of New Jersey residents. Now you're suing the Sherrill camp, and Sherrill is now doubling down, saying that she's dumbfounded. She doesn't know why you're suing her. Talk about what went through your mind when she said that, because you could see it was like an insult to the heart when she said that to you.
I think she cracked, Ken, quite frankly. The pressure of the exposure about what happened at the Naval Academy, where she was punished severely, not allowed to participate in the graduation ceremony, not having her name listed in the commencement exercise program. The revelation that in her 6 years in Congress, she somehow tripled her net worth, but can't explain how. The New York Times reporting that while sitting on the House Armed Services Committee, she's trading defense stocks. And also the lies all throughout the campaign that she's been called on the carpet for. I just think she cracked. And if you'll notice, she had a press conference yesterday and she refused to say it just as she did at the debate, because I think she realizes what the hell she's done. But listen, we're not letting her get away with that line. We're filing our defamation suit today.
All right. And you know, when we had you on WOR radio a couple of weeks ago and we talked about the whole, actually it was before the second debate, and we talked about the military situation with Mikie Sherrill. We actually had a caller, a gentleman who was a graduate of the Naval Academy. And I was under the misconception that it was part of the honor code that you had to turn in your classmates. This gentleman said, no, it's not part of the honor code, which then made me wonder, oh, so then what caused her not to be listed and not to march in her graduation ceremony? Because it wouldn't have been that. So now that leads to bigger questions, which is why I'm assuming you're asking that she release her full records from the military academy.
Well, kudos to you, Ken. You're picking up on something a great many journalists have missed. The honor code at West Point is that you have to turn in classmates who've cheating. That's not the honor code at the Naval Academy. And it says you won't tolerate lying or cheating, but you don't have to turn in those that did. She's saying the reason why she's punished because she didn't turn in classmates. That's not the honor code. And so all she has to do is approve the release of her disciplinary records so we can know exactly why it is that she was punished. I believe that if those records were released, we'll find out that it's one of two things. She either cheated or she lied to investigators.
I'll throw out a third. Her husband went to the military academy. He was apparently tied into the whole thing with the cheating. And then he sued in order to march. I mean, I don't know this. What if she was hiding something, not being able to turn him in? I mean, they were boyfriend, girlfriend. And that's what went in the back of my mind. Thrown it out there. Don't know. I don't have any facts. So I don't want the Sherrill camp calling and saying, where did you get that? It just seems logical to me. I don't know. But on October 20th, go ahead.
Yeah, she says the reason why she doesn't want to release her disciplinary records is because she doesn't want to have anything said about fellow classmates. There's nothing about fellow classmates that are in her disciplinary records. What's in her disciplinary records is why she was disciplined.
And for the record, you did not go out and look for these records. Somebody else put in the Freedom of Information Act, which, by the way, should have been something that the media had done for years, looking into the background of Mikie Sherrill. And, of course, the left-wing media committing the malpractice that they always do for the left. They never bothered investigating in the past. And so that's why it's coming out now. You previously ran for governor, of course, in 2021. You shocked many on the left by losing by only 3 points. October 27, 2021, a week before the last gubernatorial election, there was a Monmouth University poll that said you would lose by 11 points. They were off by a whopping 8. How do you feel you're doing this time around with just 21 days to go?
Well, give Monmouth credit, Ken. After that terrible poll, they got out of the polling business because it was an embarrassment to the university. We're seeing the same thing this time around, although much less numbers, 7 or 8 point margin out of places like Quinnipiac and Rutgers. The universities don't make the necessary investment. Those that do all have this as a dead heat or up by a couple of points. All I can tell you, Ken, is compared to 21, the energy is off the charts. It's electric. And when you're being endorsed by prominent Democratic mayors across the state, it says that people want change. There isn't a single Republican that's endorsed my opponent, but yet there's prominent Democrats who've endorsed me. People do not want another 4 years of Phil Murphy's failed policies. What they want is change.
And we just had on a member of the Faith and Freedom Coalition who represents a lot of Hispanic voters in New Jersey, and she was saying how the Hispanic support for the Ciattarelli cap for you folks is enormous, and that's something that 8 years ago would have been unheard of. That Hispanic voters are shifting far to the right because they just see the Democrats have just gone far to the left in terms of morals and faith values.
Ken, they want economic opportunity, they want good public schools, and they want safe communities. Those are three things that have all been abysmal failures of the past 8 years, and my opponent hasn't put forth a single plan on how to address those three major issues in this year's campaign. I've been very specific about how to fix those problems, and I've spent a great deal of time in the Latino Hispanic community and have been very, very well received. They're waking up to the fact that the Democrats, who always try to portray themselves as the party of the disadvantaged, the marginalized, the minority, it's promises made, promises broken every 4 years. And that's why they too want change.
Now, your background is a mix, of course, of very successful business person, government experience too. You were a state assemblyman. How would you say that combination of experience influences how you would govern in Trenton?
Ken, it is a very unique background, and that's not to be immodest. The family's been here for 100 years. 3 generations of us have achieved the American dream here in New Jersey. We've all been job creators and business owners. I'm an MBA CPA, and I've also had the honor of serving at every level of government, terminating myself each time, and not even taking the pay or the benefits at the municipal and county level, didn't take the benefits at the state level. So very unique background, but what it does is qualify me as something that knows what's going on here in the state of New Jersey, knows what needs to be done, and I'm willing to get it done on behalf of New Jerseyans.
Now, you've had two chances now to speak directly to voters on the debate stage, one last Wednesday and one at Rider University with ONNJ New Jersey. What do you hope that people took away from what they heard?
There's a very stark difference between the two of us. I'm from New Jersey. She's not. I know what's going on. She can't even identify what the issues are. And when specifically asked, she gives these platitudes and generalities and hardly ever answers the question. The only specific proposal she's come out with, a state of going to declare a state of emergency to freeze electricity rates at an all-time high. There are 77 incumbent Democratic legislators, 52 of which are on the ballot this year, and not one has endorsed her plan. Even the governor of her own party went on TV and said, I don't think you can do that. It's illegal. So this is somebody who's never been more ill-prepared or unqualified for the job, Ken.
Yeah, I pointed this out on both my radio and TV shows over and over again. New Jersey has, 8 of the 12 or 9 of the 12 congressional seats are Democrats. The governor's a Democrat. Both U.S. senators are Democrats. State Assembly, state Senate, both controlled by Democrats. Even the state Supreme Court controlled by Democrats. And yet Mikie Sherrill thinks she, as a Democrat, can come up with a plan to help stop the skyrocketing energy costs when it was her party, by shutting down 6 power plants in the state for the most part, that helped lead to this problem. Everybody loves to talk about the regional grid that we're part of, but that regional grid has such high prices because it's supply and demand, right? Once you shut down those 6 plants, now there's less power going into that regional grid.
He not only shut down the 6 plants, he put an unofficial moratorium on natural gas-fired electricity generation. Our plants are only at 50% capacity. He didn't expand our nuclear footprint in South Jersey, didn't accelerate solar on the rooftops of all the warehouses that have gone up, which are prime real estate for solar arrays, and then bet it all on wind. And here we are almost 8 years later, not a single wind turbine producing electricity, nor will there be when I'm governor. It's a very, very costly, unreliable source of electricity. Not to mention the fact that our Jersey Shore is sacrosanct. Nobody wants those wind farms, and we're not going to have them. I will reopen and repurpose the plants he shut down. I will lift the moratorium on natural gas-fired electricity generation plants. I'll expand nuclear, accelerate solar on the rooftops of our warehouses. We will become an electricity exporter once again, just as we were when Phil Murphy took office. When we have to import it, to your point, we're buying it through these exchanges and paying through the nose. And I'm telling you, people are pissed.
Yeah, and that is definitely the voice on the ground as people are pissed. And being a New Jersey resident, I see it firsthand. And by the way, we have invited the Mikie Sherrill folks on, and we've not gotten a response. We've invited them several times. They are still welcome to come on, and we will give them as fair an interview as humanly possible. So they're welcome to come here. New Jersey
Hey,
voters,
Ken,
mail-in
don't
voting
feel
is on
singled
right
out.
now. Yes.
Don't feel singled out. She's been refusing opportunities left and right and ducking joint appearances all around the state, and it's catching up with her.
It's the Biden running for office method. It seems hide in the basement. Again, the mail-in voting is on right now. Early in-person voting starts October 25th through November 2nd. Election day itself, Tuesday, November 4th, 3 weeks from today. Republican candidate for governor, former New Jersey State Assemblyman Jack Ciattarelli. Thank you so much for your very valuable time for joining us this morning on ONNJ Mornings.
Ken, thank you. Looking forward to next time.
You bet.